Shalom Mashpaka, greetings to you in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, to all the 12 tribes who are scattered to the ends of the earth. Shalom to you. All right, this evening I'm going to touch base upon, uh, something that has been pondering on my heart for about 4 5 days, and that's the Aleph-Beit redemption pattern which I've seen through Paleo Hebrew. All right, from being lost to the call, the path of return, and Jubilee. All right, and the key passage that struck me was Psalm 77, verses 19. Your way was in the sea, and your footsteps were not known. All right, so let's begin with the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so let's look at the introduction. All right, so these letters tell the story. So the alphabet is not merely an alphabet but a prophetic order of creation. The first five letters were traditionally called Otiyot Yesod, the foundational letters, because they form the root structure of all Torah revelation. Another ancient term is Ha Aleph-Beit Ha Rishon, which is the first alphabet, that is the first building block alphabet. So the letter Aleph, this is the Paleo Hebrew. The meaning is source or the father. The gematria value is 1, and the prophetic pattern is where everything begins. Beth, this is the Paleo Hebrew alphabet. Meaning is the house, gematria is 2, the dwelling or embodiment. The third letter is Gimel, this is the Paleo Hebrew letter. Foot, walk, give is the meaning. The gematria is 3, the walk towards restoration. Dalet, this is the Paleo Hebrew letter. The meaning is door or passage. The gematria is 4, and the prophetic pattern is the door of return. And Hey, this is the Paleo Hebrew letter, which means beholding or breath, and the gematria value is 5, and the prophetic pattern is revelation or spirit or ruach. So letters 1 to 5, all right, all these 5 letters, the covenant sequence is the source, house, walk, door, revelation. In these 5 letters lies the whole mystery of redemption, the Father's movement from unseen origin to visible revelation through the door. All right, the Aleph-Beit, all right, form the word Abba, which is the Aleph-Beit Ab. All right, it forms the word Ab, and the gematria value of Aleph is 1, and Bet is 2. If you add this, it comes to 3, which is the letter Gimel. All right, the Gimel is the foot which is walking. So when the source Aleph enters the house, it produces the walk. All right, that is the picture. So 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. The father plus the house is equal to movement, the walking Torah. And what is interesting to see is that, all right, Gimel plus Gimel is the letter Uav. This is the extraordinary prophetic language which we see, because Uav is the man, the nail, the joining. And why I'm saying Gimel plus Gimel? Because if you see over here, the letter Aleph-Beit has got a gematria value of 3, right? So if I say 3 plus 3 means 2 feet walking, all right? So Gimel is the foot, right? So 2 feet are walking, all right, which is equal to Uav, which is the extraordinary prophetic language where Uav is the man, the nail, the joining, which means the 2 Gimels are the 2 feet of man walking towards the door, which is the Dalet. All right, each Gimel has the pattern of Ab, that is the father, concealed in it. Hence, when we see Ab into Ab is equal to Uav. All right, so this is the prophetic pattern of Mashiach walking among his people, first as the messenger of Yahuwah when he led them in a heavenly body, and second as embodied into an earthly body leading his people. This also equals to the twofold witness of himself, the 2 feet of his walk, the 2 testaments, the Old Testament and the Renewed Testament, the twofold walk that leads to the same door. This is exactly what Torah plus prophets, Tanakh plus New Covenant, they are the 2 feet completing the walk. Now, Aleph-Bet, Gimmel equals to Gimmel is continued. All right, so this is a slide which is continued of the previous slide. So the full path is in one line is the Aleph-Bet, who is the Ab, is equal to Gimmel, and Gimmel, which is the Ab, the messenger of Yahuwah, plus Gimmel, Ab in an earthly body, that is Yahusha, is equal to Uav, who's the man, the nail, and joins, the mediator. There is one mediator between Elohim and man, and that is the man, Yahusha HaMashiach. And he enjoins and leads to the Dalet, the door, all right, who's the Abba, all right, and Yahusha is the door. I'll talk about Abba a bit later because Abba also has got a gematria which is equivalent to Dalet, all right, and I will show you how. So Yahusha is the door. He says, I am the door. And when you understand this mystery in these 5 letters, we at the other side of the door, as soon as the door opens, we behold, all right, and we are amazed at whom we are seeing, all right. It's a transition, Abba in a body. So Abba's walk, the walk becomes the witness of himself as the Son of Man. The witness leads to the door opens into revelation. This is the exact pattern of Yahusha fulfilling Torah and prophets, opening the door and revealing the Father in himself. This is the entire movement of scripture in numeric form. The Father becomes visible through the walk becomes witness leads to the door opens into revelation, that is Hey, of who it speaks of. All right, this is the whole gospel of Bashara hidden in the first 5 letters. Isn't that amazing? Now we will look at the word Abad. All right, if you see in the word Abad, the Gamel is missing, which is a Gimel is missing. All right, so that's the reason the word Abad means to perish or to be lost. All right, so without the Torah of life, without the walk of life, all right, so you are lost. You will never reach the door. So that is the picture, because we have many people saying Abba, 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 but denying the Abba's revelation in Yahusha HaMashiach. He is the Abba manifested in the flesh. So without the Gimel, you will never be able to reach to the door. You will never have a revelation of who he is. So the Hebrew word, if you see Abad, all right, Hebrew reads from right to the left. So Aleph has got a gematria value of 1, Bet has got the gematria value of 2, and Dalet has got a gematria value of 4, which means to perish or to be lost. Now, if you add all this, it comes to 7. Now you'll say, wait a minute, Aki, aren't you, saying that 7 is an incomplete number? No, 7 means completion, but is also the Shemitah scattering. All right. How do we understand this? Because the 7 is equal to the Shabbat pattern, rest after labor, but also exile when broken. Because Yehuda did not observe the Shemitah of the land, all right, so they were taken into captivity, okay, and that's how the Shabbat pattern was broken by them. So when the walk, that is the Gimel, is missing, the Father's house, Beth, cannot be reached through the door. So 7 represents completion and rest, which is the Shabbat, yet also scattering when the covenant cycle breaks. 7 years equals to a Shemitah. 7,000 years equals to the cycle of man's labor into waiting, where 7 denotes waiting for a transition. In loss, creation waits for restoration. Okay, the key scriptures to understand this is Genesis 2:3, and Elohim blessed the 7th day and set it apart, because on it he rested from all his work which Elohim in creating had made. Leviticus chapter 25 verses 2 to 4, speak to the children of Yasharel and say to them, when you come into the land which I give you, then the land shall observe a Shabbat to Yahuwah. Verse 3, 6 years you sow your field, and 6 years you prune your vineyard and gather in its fruit. Verse 4, but in the seventh year the land is to have a Shabbat of rest, Shabbat to Yahuwah. Do not sow your field and do not prune your vineyard. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 26 to 27. I shall call the heavens. These are Masha's words, all right? Moshe's words. He says, I shall call the heavens and earth to witness against you on that day. He's telling Yasharel that you soon completely perish from the land which you pass over the Yarden to possess. You do not prolong your days in it, but are completely destroyed. Verse 27, and Yahuwah shall scatter you among the peoples, and you shall be left few in number among the nations where Yahuwah drives you. So Yahusha said, when he healed and set people free on Shabbat, which is the seventh day, all right, in John chapter 5, verses 17, but Yahusha answered them, my Father works until now, and I work. All right, so Abad is not only being lost, but waiting. 7 signals pause in Elohim's economy that invites the +1 Jubilee remedy. All right, so Abad does not mean lost only, but also a waiting period. All right, just like the souls under the altar, I'm reminded, where they cry out saying that how long shall we wait? They cry out to Yahuwah, and they were given white garments, and they were told to rest until the brethren, the complete brethren, will be brought into the completion of that rest. So in a way that Abraham, Ishaq, Jacob, and all our fathers, all right, they are resting. Okay, they are in a waiting period. So that is the picture over here. So, but they are at the moment asleep, at the same time asleep, right? So that is that rest, because the confirmation was given to them that they will be transitioned into the likeness of the body of Yahusha HaMashiach. All right, so that is the picture that we see over here. So it is very important to understand restoring the walk, which is the Gimmel. The foot returns restoration of order. So Gimmel is the walking Torah, the Ruach in motion, the channel that enjoins the house to the door. Aleph-Beit, order, and gematria is 10. All right, so if you see, if you add the Gimmel to the value, so if you see here, Aleph is 1, Bet is 2, Gimmel is 3, and Dalet is 4. So if you add all this, it comes to 10. All right, 4 plus 3 is 7, 7 plus 2 is 9, 9 plus 1 is 10. So adding Gimmel to Abad brings total 10, which is the picture of the hand. All right, because Yod has a gematria value of 10. It's a divine action. Okay, so the hand that is nailed to the stake. All right, so that brings the order back. All right, that's how we come to the Abba, through Yahusha Mashiach in himself. So the 7, 10 mirrors totality to completion. The 7 to 10 mirrors totality to completion. From scattered, lost, and waiting to restored order, which is 10. All right, the waiting is 7, the restored order is 10. So Gimmel is the Torah of life, which is the walk. So spiritually, Gamal is the walking Torah, the one who brings the gift of life to the door by himself, walking to it. It is the movement of mercy that bridges the house and the door, the missing walk that makes salvation possible. Yeshayahu, that is Isaiah chapter 35, verses 8 to 10, it says, and there shall be a highway and a way, and it shall be called the way of set apartness. The unclean does not pass over it, but it is for those who walk the way, and no fools wander on it. No lion is there, nor any ravenous beast go up on it. It is not found there, but the redeemed shall walk there. Verse 10, and the ransomed of Yahuwah shall return and enter Sion with singing, with everlasting joy on their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. Okay, now we are going to the reverse order. Okay, so if you see here, in the reverse order, Dag, Ba, all right, Dalet, Gimel, Beth, Aleph. All right. So this is a very beautiful picture because in Hebrew, Dag means fish. That's the reason I put an image of a fish over here. And Ba in Hebrew means, the fish comes. Ba is the call, or as we say, that came or comes. All right. So the call is to return through the door. So the call Ba is not passive. It is a summon into the covenant inheritance. The fish that answers the call is the returned remnant. So, Dalet, which is the door, plus Gimel, which is the movement or the feet, is equal to Dag, which is the fish. Alright, Ba is come or enter. So, when joined, the fish comes. So, the fish comes, the call to return home, the reverse order, like I told you, Dalet, gematria 4, Gimel, gematria 3, uh, Beth, gematria 2, and Aleph, gematria 1. Now you add all this, 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 2, 9, and 10. Alright. So the fish comes when he is called. And like I told you, 10 is the Yod, isn't it? It's so amazing because we see the pierced hands of Yahusha HaMashiach. All right, touch my wounds and see that it is me. All right, didn't he tell his disciples? So when you see that, you come back to him. And didn't he say in Matthew chapter 4, verses 19, and he said to them, follow me, and I shall make you fishers of men. All right, so fishers of men. So your men are compared to as a fish coming back, listening to that call and coming back. Revelation 22 verses 17, and the Ruach and the bride say, come, and he who hears, let him say, come, and he who thirsts, come, and he who desires it, let take the water of life without paying. The word come is the word ba in Hebrew, the reverse order of Ab. Right? So the Ab is the one who is calling you and me. Alright. Ezekiel chapter 11 verses 17. Therefore say, thus said the Adon Yahuwah, and I shall gather you from the peoples, and I shall assemble you from the lands where you have been scattered, and I shall give you the land of Yasharel. So those who are scattered in the sea of nations hear the voice of the Aleph calling, come, and the invitation to enter the door of life. Now the call through the deep, all right. When we see Yonah, chapter 1, verses 17, it says, but Yahuwah appointed a great fish to swallow Yonah, and Yonah was in the stomach of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. So Yonah's descent into the fish mirrors the path of Mashiach descending into death to bring forth life. So the depths conceal the door, resurrection reveals it. I repeat, the depths conceal the door, resurrection reveals it. The Ruach calls through the waters, the lost arise as living fish drawn to the light. So the Father's walk, which is the Gimel, through the waters, the Dalet, which is unseen. Alright, so he delivered his people while the enemy perished. So we can see the example of Pharaoh and his army. Alright, where salvation and judgment in one act, the footsteps hidden beneath the deep, as we read in the beginning. Alright, Psalm 77 verses 19, where it says, your way was in the sea, your path in the great waters, and your footsteps were not known. Alright, so amazing it is when we look at these scriptures and understand the hidden Ruach in the letter. Exodus 14:29, and the children of Yasharel walked on dry ground in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on their right and on their left. Exodus 15:21, and Miriam answered them, sing to Yahuwah, for he is highly exalted, the horse and its rider he has thrown into the seas. So we see salvation to Yasharel and judgment to Pharaoh and his army in one act, his footsteps hidden beneath the deep. Alright? Okay, now we go of letter further, alright, when we see Ab, Gad, Hey. All right. So the Father brings the gift. Now, when we are seeing, we are seeing now in the straight method, right? Because Abba is the one who is walking to the door, and he is, revealing himself. All right, he's bringing a gift. So the pattern blossoms over here because the Ab is the father, Gad is the gift, blessing or increase, and He is the breath or revelation, behold. So the gematria now from 10 comes to 15 because He has got the gematria of 5. So 10 we had already seen, right, until Dalet. So you add 5 to it, which is He, we get 15. And 3 into 5 speaks so many things, all right, because if you see, 15 is the number of deliverance. Passover night was the 15th day of the first month, Abib. All right, the name Yah, all right, has, which is a shortened and poetic name of Yahuwah, all right, has got a gematria value of 15 because Yod is 10 and 5 is Hey, so 15. Okay, so that's the picture that we see here. 3 is Gimmel the Walk, and 5 is Hey, the life and breath. Hallelujah. So beautiful it is. So thus 15, the walking in Torah of life. It is the union of movement and breath, ruach in motion. So 15 is 3 into 5, the walk, which is 3, married to the breath. The motion into life is the covenant fruit. All right. Of Gad. All right. So if you see over here, Gad, all right, these two letters form the word Gad, the tribe Gad. uh, Masha said in Deuteronomy chapter 33, verses 20, and of Gad he said, blessed is he who enlarges Gad. He dwells as a lion and shall tear off the arm, also the crown. Uh, Verse 21, and he chose the best for himself, for there the portion of the inscriber was hidden, and he came with the heads of the people, the righteousness of Yahuwah he did, and his right rulings with Yasharel. James chapter 1 verses 17, every good gift and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no change nor shadow of turning. Therefore the Father, which is the Ab, brings a gift, Gad, that is revealed. Alright? Hey, he walks to the door carrying the gift of life, the Son himself. Now let's remember I told you that I will talk about Abba, the etymology of the word Abba. All right, Abba is Aleph-Beit Aleph. All right, so if you see the Hebrew word, till now we were looking at the word Ab. All right, and Ab has got a gematria value of 3, which is equal to Gimel. We saw that, right? Revelation is Gimel, the Torah of life, the unseen footsteps. All right, and Aleph is the source in the heavenly body, in the Beth, the heavenly body. So Aleph, the source in the heavenly body. And when you see the word Abba, all right, which is used in the New Testament many a times, and Greek preserves the word in Aramaic, all right. So the word has got a gematria value of 4, all right, because Aleph is 1, Beth is 2, Aleph is again 1, so has got a gematria value of 4, which equals to Dalet, and Dalet is Yahusha, who is the door. The Abba is personalized in him. He who has seen me has seen the Father. I and the Father are one. So if you see Yahusha, when he says he is the door, I am the way, the truth, and the life, no one can come to the Father but by me. John chapter 14, verses 6. All right, so he is the Dalet, he is Abba manifested in the body. All right, so which is the completion of cycle, the Aleph source revealed in the Beth, the earthly body. All right, and therefore, when you read Mark chapter 14, verses 36, see, I've taken only one example, but there are many scriptures which talks about Abba Abai, all right, where Yahusha in Gethsemane, he's praying, he said, Abba Abai, you are capable of everything, or they say it as Abi. Abba, Abi, you are capable of everything. Please make this cup pass from me, yet not what I want, but what you want. All right, so this Abba, Abi, now you combine Ab and you combine Abba and Abi. All right, you get a gematria of 17, because if you see, Abba has got a gematria value of 4, and Abai you add, you take Ab and add a yod, because that's how it is spelled, Abi. All right, so it becomes 13. So 4 plus 13 is 17. The hand of Elohim completing perfection, the hand which is 10, all right, of the Father extended in personal relationship. So 7 is the number of totality, and 10 is the yod. All right, so the total gathering, all right, into the revelation of who Abba Abai is in the body is what it's talking about, because the revelation is leads to the word Tob. All right, now if you remember in Genesis, I'll come to that a bit later. All right, first I will speak about the word Tob. All right, Tob, Hebrew reads from right to the left. Tet has a gematria value of 9, Uav has a gematria value of 6, and Beth has a gematria value of 2. You add all that, it comes to 17, which equals to Abba Abai. So the numeric name for good aligns Abba Abai with the reality of divine goodness manifested in redemption. So the prophetic connection in the letters at Gethsemane, the numeric language becomes audible. Abba, Abi, or at the very number of good, the Tob. Yahusha is not just the source, but the accessible Father, the door through which we enter. Okay, this is a continuation of that same slide, the etymology of the word Abba. All right, so Ab is the Hebrew form, classical or biblical Hebrew term for father, used throughout the Tanakh. Abba, the Aramaic and late Hebrew form, originates from Aramaic, where it means father, daddy, or dear father, a more intimate personal relational form. So common in the spoken language of Yahusha's day, since Aramaic was the mother tongue of most Yahudis and Galileans, and it occurs in the New Testament many times. We already read Mark 14:36, where Abba, Father, all things are possible for you. Romans 8:15, you received the spirit of adoption by whom we cry, Abba, Father. So if you see, while Greek translates Father as Pater, Greek maintains the Aramaic as Abba, as it is, as pronounced Abba, Aleph-Beit, Aleph. Okay. Galatians 4 verses 6, Elohim has sent forth the Spirit of His Son into your hearts, crying, Abba, Father. Again, Greek preserves Abba as it is, but translates Father as Pater. Okay, you can look up your Strong's Concordance and you can see. So each time the Greek text preserves the Aramaic Abba, in Hebrew thought, this shift is not a loss, it's a progressive revelation. Okay, now coming to the letter Tet, I already told you the gematria value is 17. So Yahusha is not just the source, but the accessible Father, the door through which we enter. Okay, I already read Mark 14:36, where he prayed Abba, Abi. Okay, but what is interesting to see is that earlier during his ministry, a man called him good teacher, Tob Rabbi, the same word Tob, all right, which has the gematria value of 17, because 9 plus 6 is 15 plus 2 is 17. Okay, you can read that in Mark chapter 10 verses 17 to 18, where it says, and he was setting out on the way, one came running and knelt before him and asked him, good teacher, what shall I do to inherit everlasting life? Verse 18, and Yahusha said to him, why do you call me good? No one is good except one, Elohim. So Yahusha isn't denying, he's not denying his own goodness. He's making the man to recognize who he really is. If only Elohim is Tob and Yahusha is truly Tob, then the conclusion is that the goodness he sees in the teacher is the goodness of Elohim himself. So both moments revolve around the goodness, which is 17, and the door, which is 4, the Dalet. So Abba 4 is equals to Dalet, which is the door. So Abi adds Yod to Abba, Abba Abi, all right, which is equal to Tob, and which means good. So the cry Abba Abi and the title Good Teacher, all right, numerically converge the Father's door opening to reveal goodness. Isn't that amazing? And we see in Genesis 1 verses 31, Elohim saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. The word there is Tob Meod. Again, the word Tob. Right? Very good. Right? Because everything falls perfectly into himself, a revelation of who he is. Isn't that amazing when we understand this mystery? All right, so uh, you know when we see Abba, all right, which is 4, is equals to Dalet the door, who is Yahusha himself. It's so amazing because Yahusha says, I am the door. So it just cannot be coincidence, isn't it? So, and Abi adds Yod to it. All right, so Abba Abi is 17 because Abba is 4, okay, and Abi is 13. All right, so 13 plus 4 is 17, which is equals to Tob and good. So he is the good teacher. All right, indeed, because he is one with Elohim. He is Elohim manifested in the flesh. So when Yahusha said, "Why do you call me good?" does not mean that he is not good. He said, he's just saying that there is only one who is good. No one is good except one, Elohim. So he is giving a revelation to that man that, I am that Elohim. So since you're calling me good teacher, you're equaling me with the earthly rabbis. I am above them. I am the one Elohim. That's how we understand this revelation. Now this is very amazing. Okay, please bear with me. I'll just take you through this. Okay, now let's look at the word, the name David. All right, the name David, or in Hebrew as it says David, they call him as David. It means beloved in English, beloved. Okay, the key scripture that we will look at is Hebrews chapter 7 verses 14, which says, "For it is perfectly clear that our master arose from Yehuda, a tribe about which Masha never spoke of concerning priesthood." Okay, so Abba, the father, is numerically tied to the door. We already saw that, right? Abba is equal to Dalet, which is 4, right? And David, as the beloved king, embodies the covenantal door through which blessing and kingship flow. The 14 of David restates that the father's revelation to his beloved is the hinge of redemption. Now, David's name, all right, is 14. All right, the gematria is 14. Dalet 4, Uav is 6, and Dalet is 4. So do the maths. 6 plus 4, 10 plus 4, 14. All right, so now we look at the first 5. We look at the letters, right, which I was saying about the first 5 letters, the gematria value. All right, we already saw Abba is equal to Dalet. So can you see here? Aleph 1, Beth 2, Aleph 1. So 2 plus 1, 3 plus 1, 4. So this is Dalet, the one Dalet in David's name. Okay, Uav is the gematria value of 6. Okay, and again Abba, on a Dalet. Okay, and can you see here? Uav, we already saw, right? Uav is got 2 feet walking. Gimmel into 2. That's the reason I put it as Gimmel into 2 is equal to 6. The 2 feet that are walking. So amazing. And Ephesians 1:6 says, "To the praise of the esteem of his favor with which he favored us in the beloved." In the beloved. So who is he talking about? He's talking about Yahusha HaMashiach. He is that covenantal door. He is the beloved. All right, David, when you see Acts chapter 2, verses 29 and 30, that is why Kepha or Peter is, speaking to the people, saying that, men and brothers, let me speak boldly to you of the ancestor David, that he died and was buried, and his tomb is with us to this day. Verse 30, being a prophet then, and knowing that Elohim has sworn with an oath to him of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, to raise up the Mashiach to sit on his throne. All right, so it is talking about Yahusha. He is the beloved. All right, David is only a foretaste or foreshadow of the covenantal door that through whom Yahusha comes, and that's the reason Yahusha is termed as the son of David. And Yahusha himself says, I am the root and offspring of David, the bright and morning star. Isn't this amazing? So see the picture over here. The doorway is pinned to the doorway through the nail. The man, all right, who is walking, all right, he's connecting the doors from the heavenly realm to the earthly realm in a body, all right, by his walk, the Torah of life. So that is the gematria of David that we see. So the word Abba, Father, when we read, symbolically aligns to the pattern Dalet Wow Dalet. That is the name David. Numerically, this points to the same framework that underlines the name David. Within the name David appear the elements Dalet and Gimel in symbolic combination. Dalet plus Gimel is 7, and again Dalet plus Gimel is 7. So Dalet plus 1 Gimel is 7, and Dalet plus 1 Gimel is 7. 7 plus 7 is 14. Okay. So in the prophetic economy is the number of completion or pausing, the Shabbat boundary. It often represents a season of waiting before the complete restoration. So that is the picture over here. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, now we saw the number 7. All right, waits is a waiting period, right? We saw, and number 7 into 2 is the witness. 2 is the witness of 7, where the Abba is revealed in Yahusha. All right, from waiting to witness, the Father revealed in the One. So Matthew 5:17, Yahusha said, do not think that I came to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I did not come to destroy but to complete. So 7, which is the Dalet plus Gimel, okay, signals a divinely ordained pause, the season of waiting, testing, and Shabbat expectation. This waiting is not final. It points forward to the +1 resolution, which is the Jubilee release. All right, 7 into 2 is 14. A doubled 7, which is a witness confirmed in both foundational testimonies. In Jewish reading, doubling signifies testimony or confirmation, which is the two witnesses. Here 7 into 2 is the theological shorthand, the witness of the Torah, which is the law, and the prophets, all right, together testify to the Abba who was hidden. So the doubled witness 7 into 2 leading to 14 is embodied in David, who is the beloved, and culminates in the revelation of the Abba in Mashiach. So the hidden Father who walked unseen, where we saw, right, Psalm 77 verses 19, your footsteps were hidden. Is that imagery is revealed in Yahusha, the one who is both door and Yahuwah. Therefore, the prophetic chain reads waiting, confirmed witness, revelation in the beloved, full restoration, which is the Jubilee. So the Old Testament witness and New Testament witness unite in one person, Yahusha, who is the fulfillment of the Father's hidden walk and is testified to by both testaments. Why two witnesses? Biblical law requires 2 or 3 witnesses to establish truth. So 7 into 2 is the symbol of canonical confirmation across testaments. Psalm 77 imagery, the Father's path in the sea and hidden footsteps show that revelation often follow a hidden redemption or an act. So the practical application, the same Father who was hidden in suffering is the one who calls us to enter the door. The ecclesial implication is evangelistic and covenantal, call the lost to the door. So that's the picture. Yahusha, the unseen walker, and the door. So the messenger of Yahuwah led Yasharel through the sea. We saw that, right? Exodus 14:19 to 30. All right. The same one declares, I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he shall be saved. John chapter 10, verses 9. He is both the unseen walker and the door itself, the way through death into life. Abba, the word and its form, we already saw, all right, which is four, so which is equal to the door, the Dalet. So the very word Abba, Father, numerically equals the door. Abba, all right, which is four, is equal to the door. The Father Himself is revealed through the door. The Son, who says, I am the door, is the visible expression of the invisible Abba. So the unseen Aleph moves through the Bet and returns to Aleph again, a full circle of revelation. All right, and that's the reason when the seventh trumpet is blown, the mystery of Elohim is completed. So the seven seals leading to the seven trumpets, leading to the seven plagues, all talk about a full circle of revelation. It's a waiting period, all right, which Yahuwah embedded in the Aleph-Beit, what we are talking about, all right, his revelation. Because at the end of when the last trumpet is blown, all right, that's the time the full revelation of who he is, being face to face with his creation, will be revealed, all right, to all creation. So this is the incarnation mystery, Abba walking through the door. When Yahusha says, he who has seen me has seen the Father, all right, he speaks in the same Aleph-Beit language. The door is the numerical face of the Abba. Crossing the sea, entering the door. At the crossing, the lost Abad found the path, Gimmel, through the door. So the waters closed behind them, all right, and a new journey stood before them. They beheld the works of Yahuwah, all right, which is the letter He. And this is the song of Moses, Masha, as we say, Exodus 15 verses 1 to 2. Then Masha and the children of Yasharel sang this song to Yahuwah and spoke, saying, I sing to Yahuwah, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea. Verse 2, Yah is my strength. We saw the word Yah, right? 15, all right, which is the breath, all right, and the Ruach breath into the Gimmel, the Walk, the Torah, the three, Gimmel 3 into 5, the breath, the Ruach breath forms the word Yah. Alright, verse 8, and with the wind of your nostrils the waters were heaped up, the flood stood like a wall, the depths, the Hebrew word for depths is tehom, or tahum as we say, stiffed in the heart of the sea, and song, and he has become my deliverance. He is my El, and I praise him, Elohim of my father, and I exalt him. Revelation 15, 2 to 3, it says, and I saw like a sea of glass mixed with fire, and those overcoming the beast, and his image, and his mark, and the number of his name, standing on the sea of glass, holding the harps of Elohim. Verse 3, and they sing the song of Masha, the servant of Elohim, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are your works, Yahuwah El Shaddai, righteous and true are your ways, O sovereign of the set apart ones. Revelation 4 verse 1, and after this I looked and saw a door having been opened in the heaven. Alright, who's that door? Yahusha. Through Yahusha we understand who the Abba is, who's embodied in a body. So the song of Masha and the song of the Lamb is one and the same. The fifth letter, He, shows a man beholding, arms raised. It is the revelation and response, the soul seeing Elohim. The hidden footsteps beneath the sea are revealed above the crystal sea. So because when you read, when we read Revelation 15 verses 2, they were standing on the sea of glass mixed with fire. So what was beneath is come up now. So amazing if you understand this. So the journey of Aleph-Beit is complete. The Father, the Walk, the Door, the Beholder. Okay, now let me talk about the word Bab. All right, Bab is the pupil. So if you see this picture over here, is the pupil of the eye. So that's what Bab in Hebrew means, or it is the gate. So Hebrew Bab literally means gate, opening or pupil of the eye. All right, Bab has got a gematria value of 4, which is 2 plus 2. And again, 4 speaks about Dalet, the door. Isn't that amazing? And door speaks about Abba. So in this pupil, all right, your eye is beholding the Abba. That's the revelation in the pupil of your eye. All right, and Yahusha said in Matthew chapter 6, verses 22, the lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened. Therefore, Bab is equal to the door of light, the pupil, the inner gate. The pupil perceives the Aleph, all right, and Bab, the door of vision, all right, Aleph, the source of life, or of light, I'm sorry. Together, 5 is equal to 1 plus 4, all right, so which is Aleph plus Bab, all right. So if you add this, it comes to 5, the revelation of who Yahuwah is, because Yahuwah is Yahusha. Okay, and 5 is the fifth letter, which is Hey, the letter of revelation, breath, and beholding. The door of the eye, Bab, beholds the light of the source, Aleph, and the union gives birth to Hey, revelation, perception, and understanding. So if you see here, I put a table, small table here, the word letter Bet, the value is 2, and its meaning is house, container, dwelling. Bab, the value, gematria value is 4, which is the Dalet, the door, pupil, the gate of perception. Aleph, gematria value is 1, source, light, the unseen father. All right, if you add this, okay, it comes Bab plus Aleph, get the revelation, which is the Hey, the revelation, breath, behold. So the Aleph, all right, Aleph is the source from where everything originated. All right, Abba and the Son, one, all right, are in relation to the uh, realms, the heavenly realm and the earthly realm. Before the heavenly realm and the earthly realm, before anything existed, Yahuwah existed, isn't it? And nothing was there. When nothing was there, Yahuwah was still there. He existed as the source, the Aleph, from where it all originated. So your Bab is seeing the Aleph. That is the picture that I'm trying to convey to you, which is the revelation of who he is, because Bab is the gematria value of 4 and Aleph is 1, which is 5, and it talks about the letter Hey, because Hey has got the letter 5, which is the revelation, breath, behold. Amazing. This is a continuation of the same slide, the scriptural and prophetic echoes. Psalms chapter 119 verses 18. Open my eyes that I may behold wondrous things from your Torah. The Bab opening to see the Aleph, the revelation. Hey. Genesis 3:7. Then the eyes of both of them were opened. The Bab opened to see their nakedness, as the Aleph was not in the direct sight. So if you see over here, Adam and Eve, or Adam and Kawwa, let the eyes were opened and they realized that they are naked in front of the Aleph. Right? So they sew fig leaves and covered their nakedness. So that is a picture. The eyes of them both were opened. They understood whom they have sinned against. John chapter 9 verses 6 to 7. Yahusha heals the man born blind, restoring true sight. The Bab is open to identify the Aleph, where he says that I am the light of this world. Okay, so the Aleph is opened up, the Bab is opened up to identify the Aleph. The blind man identified him as the son of Elohim, right, who is Elohim himself. The Bab is the Dalet of the soul, the doorway of perception. When it turns to the Aleph, the true source, it receives the Hey, the revelation and Ruach. If it turns away, as in Babel, the same Bab becomes confusion, a blind gate. Thus Yahusha says, "Blessed are your eyes, for they see." Matthew chapter 13, verses 16. Because the barb of their spirit was aligned with the Aleph, and the result was Hey, revelation, life, and breath from above. The sight, which is barb, uh, which has got, Hey, the revelation, depends on the restored walk, the Gimmel and the Door, Dalet. A people who behold the Aleph will enter the Jubilee. Now, I want to touch base slightly upon the meaning of seven. We saw, right? Seven, Abad is a period of not only being lost in the wilderness journey, but also a period of waiting. All right, where Yahuwah in His wisdom embedded the seven. All right, which leads to the completion 10. Okay, so seven seals, seven lamps, seven trumpets. Every cycle of seven brings a pause before renewal. The number of perfection becomes the number of suspension. It ends one order so the next can begin. So in exile, Yasharel kept the land's Shabbat by force of desolation, the silence before the Jubilee. When we read 2 Chronicles 36 verses 21, it says, "In order to fulfill the word of Yahuwah by the mouth of Yarmayahu, until the land had enjoyed her Shabbats, as long as she lay waste, she kept Shabbat until 70 years were completed." And Yahukanan's vision in Revelation chapter 1 shows Yahusha standing among the seven lampstands holding the seven stars. So that scene gathers the scattered, which is the sevenfold assembly, into his right hand, the same progression which shows that the scattered lights, all right, which is seven, the Abad gathered in his hand, which is 10, which is a divine action. So can you see that picture? Seven stars in his hand. Seven we saw is equal to Abad. All right, people who are scattered, all right, and are being gathered into his hand. Seven stars in his hand. The Kesel, the constellations. All right. So key thought: seven marks completion, scattering, and pause before renewal. Now, from 7 to 10, the Shemitah to Jubilee, 7 into 7 plus 1. So, the Jubilee restoration of inheritance. Leviticus chapter 25, verses 8 to 10 commands 7 Sabbaths of years, 7 times 7, which is 49. The next year, the 50th, is Yobel, which is the Jubilee. The Jubilee is not a new cycle, it is the transcendence of cycle, plus one, beyond the closed sevenfold world. The extra plus one transcends the closed circle of seven. It is the breath of new creation. So 7 into 7 plus 1 is 50. So 50 is 5 into 10, where He we saw is the letter which has got the gematria value of 5, into Yod, the breath united with the hand. All right, it is the Ruach, all right, resting upon the action. Ruach, which is the He of revelation, resting upon the action, all right, which is his hand, where which was nailed to the stake. So life and work completed together, the seal of redemption. Again, I put a small table over here which talks about concept. Number 6 symbolizes work, meaning human labor, striving. All right, Abad equals to 7. The symbol work is rest or scattering. The meaning is release, land, lie still, lostness revealed. 10 with the Gimel is the renewal, divine hand restoring or resurrection. All right. So 7 into 7 plus 1, which is Jubilee, ultimate rest, which is the restoration of inheritance or return to origin. I'm sorry, it should be 10 with Yod. By mistake, I put a Gimel over here. It is 10 with the Yod, which talks about renewal, divine hand restoring order and resurrection. Okay, so please ignore this paleo letter. It has to be Yod. All right, here. This is the paleo Hebrew letter Yod. Okay, the 6,000 years is equal to the sixth day, 120 years into 50. I have touched base this upon in detail in my previous studies, but I'll just give a gist of what I'm saying. 6 into 1000 is the human labor age. The seventh is the Shabbat rest for creation. The plus one Jubilee, which is the eighth or beginning of eternity, equals the new heavens and earth embedded in the seven as time ends when he comes. Isn't that amazing? So that macro cycle echoes the micro cycle of every week and every Shemitah. All right, because Yasharal in the land had to observe 7 into 7 plus 1 Jubilee. Again 7 into 7 plus 1, uh, which is 50 years. And every 50 years there was a Jubilee. So the macro cycle, this is the macro cycle I'm talking about. All right, where uh, the new heavens and the new earth are embedded in the seven as time ends and it transitions to eight, all right, which is the beginning of eternity. So this is the typology, not dogmatics. All right, the 6k or 6000 plus 1000 rhythm echoes Shabbat language and Jubilee math. So Genesis 6 verses 3, and Yahuwah said, my spirit shall not strive with man forever in his going astray. He is flesh, and his days shall be 120 years. 2 Peter chapter 3 verses 8, but beloved ones, let not this one matter be hidden from you, that with Yahuwah 1 day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as 1 day. Exodus 20 verses 11, for in 6 days Yahuwah made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore Yahuwah blessed the Sabbath day and set it apart. So the stage, again I put a small table here, the stage is creation, the number 1 to 6, symbol is labor, building the house, meaning work of man. Okay, the second stage, lostness or waiting period, Abad 7, the rest, the scattering, the end of toil, the Shemitah boundary. So number 7 talks about reaching the boundary, totality, no perfect, just about to transition into perfection. The restoration adds Yod, right, which is the hand. Now again I need to change this to Yod. By mistake I put Gimel over here. So it's Yod, number is 10, hand of Elohim, Jubilee release, lost sheep found, inheritance returned. Alright, fullness, 7 into 7 plus 1, the complete rest beyond time, the 7th millennium, eternal Jubilee. Alright, that's what it means. The eternal Jubilee, the end of time and the beginning of eternity, forever and ever. The 7 transitions to the 8. That's a picture. Okay, completed this. So from 7 to 10, Shemitah to Jubilee, 7 into 7 plus 1, the Jubilee restoration of inheritance. The verses are Leviticus 25 verses 8 to 10, and you shall count 7 Sabbaths of years for yourself, 7 times 7 years, and the time of the 7 Shabbats of years shall be to you 49 years. Verse 9, you shall then sound a shofar sound on the 10th day of the 7th new moon on Yom HaKippurim, cause a shofar to sound through all your land. Yom HaKippurim means Day of Atonement. Okay. Verse 10, and you shall set the 50th year apart and proclaim release throughout all the land to all its inhabitants. It is a Yobel or Jubilee for you, and each of you shall return to his possession, and each of you return to his clan. Deuteronomy 15, 1 to 2, and the end of every 7 years you shall make a release of debts. Verse 2, and this is the word of the release. Every creditor is to release what he has loaned to his neighbor. He does not require it of his neighbor or his brother, because it is called the release of Yahuwah. So 7 into 7 is 49, the full cycle plus 1 is 50, which is the release. So the plus 1 is the breath of new creation. So 7 to 10 marks the transition from rest through loss to rest through restoration. The hand 10 gathers the scattered, fulfilling the word, I will extend my hand again to recover the remnant of my people. All right. So this is the beautiful picture that we see. Yahusha fulfills the pattern from resurrection to Ruach. All right. Now this 7 into 7 pattern is concealed and revealed also in the Shabuot pattern, which is the day of Pentecost, because uh, the resurrection happened on the seventh day. All right, where Yahusha was raised on the seventh day. 40 days with his disciples plus 10 days waiting is equal to 50, which is Shavuot. So 40 days Yahusha walked with his disciples after he rose from the dead, and he was taken up into heaven, and there was a 10 day waiting period for them, all right, to reach to Shavuot. All right, again we see a beautiful picture over here, okay, where 40 number 40 talks about trial and testing, all right, and 10 speaks about the yod, the hand, all right, where you know, which leads to 50, the Shavuot, the pattern, okay, which we see in when Yasharal was in the land, okay, was fulfilled by Yahusha HaMashiach, because during these 40 days he wasn't testing his disciples, but he was walking among his disciples. He was there with his disciples for even after he rose from the dead, all right, teaching them, revealing to them the deep hidden mysteries, all right, about himself. So, what happened on the day of Shavuot? The Spirit descends, the Ruach descends, and it brought forth the Jubilee of souls. Okay, Acts chapter 2, verses 1 to 3. And when the day of the festival of Shavuot had come, they were all with one mind in one place. And suddenly there came a sound from the heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled the house where they were sitting. Verse 3, and there appeared to them divided tongues as of fire, and settled on each one of them. And they were all filled with the set apart Ruach, and began to speak with other tongues as the Ruach gave them to speak. Luke chapter 4 verses 18, the Ruach of Yahuwah is upon me, because he has anointed me to bring the good news to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to send away crushed ones with a release, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah. And having rolled up the scroll, he gave it back to the attendant and sat down, and the eyes of all in the congregation or synagogue were fixed upon him. And he began to say to them, today the scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing. So he rose on the seventh day, the true Shabbat of redemption. He walked with his disciples 40 days, all right, testing and proving them whether they truly loved him. Okay, then 10 days more they waited until the 50th, which is the Shabuot. It is an exact pattern of Yasharal walking 40 days in the wilderness, where Yahuwah tested them whether they loved Yahuwah more than anything else. Okay, and 10 days, all right, the waiting period until the 50th, which is the Shavuot. Once they entered into the land after 40 years, all right, then they observed the first Jubilee. All right, so from that time, that is a mirror image in the Ruach pattern, all right, which is the Shavuot pattern, 7 into 7 plus 1. So 7 into 7 plus 150, the Ruach descends, the Jubilee of souls begins. Resurrection is the completion of work. Shavuot is the evidence of esteem. The numerical rhythm of Torah reappears in the timeline of Mashiach. What was hidden beneath the waters has become the open door. The Aleph walked, the door opened, and the people are called, all right, unto himself. The door has opened up, and the bride is called to himself. Okay, the Spirit and the bride say, come. So the summary thread, we saw the path of Aleph-Beit, all right, Abad, which means to perish, to be lost. 7 marks completion and rest, but also scattering and exile, a waiting period, the Shemitah pause, the Shemitah boundary, as we say, that exposes loss and calls for a release. Okay, we saw various scriptures, uh, Genesis chapter 2, verses 2 to 3, Leviticus 25, Deuteronomy 4, 26 to 27, Second Chronicles 36 to 21, in a mirror pattern of Yasharal being in the land, and they were exiled from the land for not observing the Shabbat of the land. Okay, restoring the Gimmel, the Walk, the Ab, which is 10. Well, 10 is Yod, the hand of Elohim, the divine action that gathers and restores. Yeshayahu chapter 35 verses 8 to 10. 7 into 7 plus 1 is 50, the Jubilee. The plus 1 transcends the closed cycle of 7, declaring release, inheritance, and new creation. Leviticus 25 8 to 10. Deuteronomy 15 1 to 2. The resurrection to Pentecost 7 to 50. Alright, where 7 into 7 cycles were embedded, plus 1 is 50. So Yahusha rose on the Shabbat, appeared 40 days, and after 10 more days the Ruach descended, the Jubilee of Souls. It all mirrors to what happened with Yasharal in the land. Okay. Dag, Ba, we saw the fish comes, the scattered souls hear the call and move through the door of life. All right, and Matthew 4 verses 19, Revelation 22 verses 17, Yonah chapter 1 verses 17, Abgad, Hey, we saw 3 into 5 which is 15, walk into breath, the walking Torah of life, the Father brings the gift through the motion and revelation, Deuteronomy 33 20 to 21, James 1 verses 17. Then we saw Abba, which is 4, which is equals to Dalet, the door, Abba, Abai. All right, we saw talks about 17. Okay, and we also saw Dalet, Wow Dalet, where talks about David, the beloved of Elohim. All right, the Father reveals himself to the door because the Abba is concealed in the door. We saw that picture, right? Abba equals to Dalet, which is the door. So the beloved King embodies that door of covenant favor. John chapter 10 verses 9, Ephesians 1 verses 6. Abba, Abai, all right, where which is 17, which is equal to Tob, which means good. And we saw, and Yahuwah created everything and saw that it was very good because everything fell in perfect line of the revelation of himself, where he saw that what he intended for his creation, all right, whom he would reveal himself, would come back to the source. All right, so that is the picture that we see. Bab plus Aleph, we saw the Bab is the pupil, Aleph, in that pupil is the revelation of who he is, and equals to 5, which is the revelation. The pupil of the gate beholds the source. Sight joins with light, producing revelation and spirit. Matthew 6:22, John chapter 9. Macro rhythm, 6,000 years plus 1,000 is 7,000. 6 millennia of labor culminate in the 7th millennium rest, the great Shabbat and Jubilee of creation. Psalms 90 verses 4, 2 Peter chapter 3 verses 8, Hebrews chapter 4. The prophetic ark, the Aleph walked unseen through the sea, the Gimmel restored the house, the door opened, the beholder saw. What was lost became called, redeemed and revealed, the beloved door through which goodness entered. So lost 7, restored walk 10, gift becomes 15, goodness becomes 17, and it reaches to Jubilee, which is 50, which is the rest 7,000. And that Jubilee plus 1 is embedded in that 7 because 7 plus 1 is 8. Talks about eternity, forever and ever and ever and ever, as we say. So the key verse that we saw was Psalm 77 verses 19. Your way was in the sea and your footsteps were not known. All right, so beloved, this is all that I have to share with you. I pray that Yahusha open your eyes and you are able to understand the deep hidden mysteries of the kingdom. I'm sorry I won't be able to share this PowerPoint presentation which I've made because Facebook will not allow, neither my blog will allow this. But you will have to watch this video in order to understand this deep revelation. May Yahusha Barak you. Shalom.